Alright, now let's look at this question. This is all about transactional workloads. Option A is capturing discrete operational events as they happen. Transactional workloads focus on capturing discrete actions like purchases or updates in real time. Let's keep it. We'll move to B. B says consolidating extensive datasets for analysis. Consolidating data supports analytical workloads. Again, not suitable for real-time event capture, what we need as per the question. So this is out. We'll move to now option C. Option C says generating detailed analytical summaries. Producing reports involves summarizing data, not handling real-time transactional events. Again, this is wrong. We'll move to D. D says enable users to explore data on its own. Exploring data interactively is part of analytical workloads, not suitable for recording transactional events. Wrong choice. We'll lock option A as the right answer. Alrighty, here we go with an interesting question, which is all about Azure Blob Storage. Option A says transfer data from hot tier to cold tier. Moving from hot to cool is a cost optimization shift, not a rehydration event. Wrong answer. We'll move to B. B says move data from hot tier to archive tier. Moving data from hot to archive is a transition into long-term storage, not a recovery process. We'll eliminate it. We'll move to C. C says shift data from cool tier to archive tier. Shifting data from cool to archive is a deeper archival move, not a retrieval process. We'll eliminate it. We'll move to option D. D says store data from archive tier to cool tier. Blob rehydration occurs when archive data is brought back to an online tier like cool or hot. That being said, option D is the right answer. Okay, now let's look at this question. This is all about asset semantic. So if you are familiar about relational database, then asset you might be already familiar with. This will test your concepts. Option A says consistency. Consistency ensures rules are followed but doesn't control rollback behavior as required by the question. A is wrong. We'll move to B. B says durability. Durability guarantees persistence, not transactional completeness. Wrong answer. We'll move to C. C says atomicity. Atomicity ensures that either all operations in a transaction succeed or none are applied. That is all or nothing in a layman term. Let's keep it. We'll move to now option D. D says isolation. Isolation manages concurrency, not all or nothing execution. So we'll eliminate it. We'll lock option C, atomicity, as the right answer. Alright, now let's look at this question. We'll look at is all about graph database. So just by looking at the keyword, you might be guessing the correct answer if you're following this series. Option A says Azure Cosmos DB for table. Table API is optimized for key value access, not for graph traversal. Wrong answer. We'll move to B. B says Cosmos DB for Apache Cassandra. Cassandra API supports wide column storage, not graph structures. Wrong answer. We'll move to C. C says Azure Cosmos DB for NoSQL. NoSQL API handles JSON documents, not graph relationships. Wrong choice. We'll move to now option D. D says Azure Cosmos DB for Apache Gremlin. Apache Gremlin API supports graph-based queries and relationship mapping essential for graph databases. Looks good. Quick tip for the exam: whenever you see graph keyword, Gremlin should strike on your mind. So that what it goes. I hope you got the concept. Option D is the right answer. Alrighty, here we go with an interesting question. This is all about Azure Synapse Data Explorer. Option A is Bash. Bash is used for shell scripting, not for querying data in Synapse Data Explorer. Incorrect. We'll move to B. B says PowerShell. PowerShell handles administrative tasks, not analytical queries. Incorrect. Option C says KQL. KQL is purpose built for querying structured, semi-structured, and time series data in Azure Synapse Data Explorer. We'll keep it. We'll move to D. D says SQLN. SQLN is not a recognized query language in Azure Synapse Data Explorer. Incorrect. We'll lock option C. KQL. Quick tip for the exam. If you see questions related to log analytics or Synapse and it's looking for some kind of language, then KQL, that is custom query language, is the right answer. Alrighty, so this is all about DML. So basic relational database concepts we have here. DTL, DML, you might be familiar. So this will test your concepts. Option E says insert. Insert modifies table contents by adding new records, which is a DML operation. Looks good, we can keep it. We'll move to now option B. B says alter. Alter is part of data definition language used for schema changes. Incorrect. We'll move to now C. C says drop. Drop belongs to DDL again, that is data definition language used to delete schema object, right? Drop, delete commands we have especially for this. We'll reject this. Now let's move to D. D says create. Create is again just like the above 3, B, C and D. All these 3 are basically DDL commands or the DDL statements, which is create is definitely used for creating new objects like create table, then the table name, right? So that's what it goes concept. We'll reject this. We'll lock option A, insert as the right answer. Alrighty, here we go again with ACID concept. So this will test your concept on the balances remain intact even if database server crashes or restarts. Option A says durability. Durability guarantees that once a transaction is committed, its changes persist even if the system goes down. Let's keep it because that's what this question is looking. Option B says isolation. Isolation controls concurrency, not data persistence after failure. Wrong answer. We'll move to C. C says atomicity. Atomicity ensures all or nothing. And it's not meant for like long-term retention and all what we are looking. C is wrong. We'll move to now D. Option D says consistency. Consistency enforces rules and constraints, not survival of committed data. We'll eliminate it. We'll lock option A, durability, as the right answer. Alright, now let's look at this question. This is all about key differences between structured data and semi-structured data. Option A says structured data follows a rigid schema, while semi-structured data allows schema flexibility. Structured data follows predefined formats, while semi-structured data allows varied structures with embedded tags. Let's keep it. We'll move to B. B says structured data alone supports entities. Entities can be represented in both structured and semi-structured formats, depending on the model used. Incorrect. We'll move to now option C. C says structured data uses flexible schema. Semi-structured data uses a fixed schema. Structured data doesn't use flexible schema. This reverses the actual distinction. So this statement is incorrect. We'll move to now option D. D says structured data supports attributes while semi-structured doesn't. Attributes exist in both formats, though they are organized differently. So this is again a wrong statement. We'll lock option E as the right answer. Alrighty, here we go with an interesting question about graph database. Option E says table. Table API handles flat key value pairs, not graph relationship. Incorrect. We'll move to B. B says Cassandra. Cassandra API supports wide column formats, not graph traversal. Wrong answer. We'll move to C. C says NoSQL. NoSQL API stores JSON documents, not graph structures. Wrong choice. We'll move to D. D says gremlin. Rings a bell because in the question we can see graph is mentioned, and in the option we have gremlin, right? So this rings a bell. Gremlin API supports graph based queries and relationships mapping essential for graph databases. So option D is the right answer. Let's bring the heat to the snow. This is all about type of Azure resource which it supports, and we have serverless configuration here. Option A says SQL Server on Azure virtual machines. Virtual machines require manual provisioning and lack serverless capabilities. Incorrect. We'll move to option B. B says an Azure SQL database elastic pool. Elastic pools use provisioned compute, not serverless configuration. Incorrect. We'll move to C. C says a single database in Azure SQL database. Serverless compute tier is available only for single databases in Azure SQL database. We'll keep it. We'll move to D. D says Azure SQL managed instance. Managed instance supports fixed compute tiers, not serverless scaling. We'll eliminate it. We'll lock option C as the right answer. So please don't go away. Let's meet in next part of this series.